Good morning. How are you? We're going to begin our daily classes of Mathematics Online. Okay, we have to begin with a special case. Okay, guys, I would like to begin with this situation. I have two apples, whole apples, and one half of an apple. So I have to give the same amount of these apples to 4 people. So that means that I have to multiply this number of 2 apples and a half to distribute to 4 people. Let's remember the concept of whole numbers and decimals. Here we have two whole numbers separated by a decimal point, and we have 2.5 tenths, which represent this 1 and 2 apples. These are 2 and half of an apple. Half of an apple is considered 1.5. Where does it come from? It comes from this fraction. If I divide 1 by 2, I'm going to get 0.5. So my addition of these 2 apples and a half gives me 2.5, which is this number. Well, how can I get this 0.5? 0.5 is formed by dividing 5 over 10. 5 divided by 10 is going to give me 5 tenths. So that's the way we have the decimals in tenths, in hundreds, in thousands, and 10,000, and so on. So it depends on what's the number that's going to go in the lower number, which is called the denominator. Well, anyway, this is the beginning of how we use the decimal numbers and how we're going to multiply our numbers. Okay, now let's multiply decimals. I have this number, 4.251 thousandths, multiplied by 4. Well, I will multiply as usual. I multiply 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. I carry 2. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10. I carry 1. And 4 times 4 is 16 plus 1 is 17. Okay, well, I have my number, but I have to be careful because this is not a whole number. It's a decimal. It has 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3 places. Since my decimal number is here as any whole number, I will have to move to the left. So I do 1, 2, and 3 places. So finally, my answer is going to be 17 and 4 thousandths. Well, that's very interesting and very easy to understand. Now let's see another example. Let's see that we have another number which could be 26 and 300ths. And it's multiplied by another decimal number. Let's say it's 24. Okay, well, you have to be very careful. Sometimes you're only going to see a decimal point. That means that there is a 0 here. Well, we do as usual. We multiply 4 times 3 is 12. We carry 1. 6 times 4 is 24. We carry 2. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10. Okay? Now we multiply 2 times 3, since this is a place that's occupied by 0. We say 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 6 is 12. We carry 1. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Then we add. We have 2. We have 7. We have 4. We have 2. And we have 6. Did we finish? Not yet. We have to count how many decimals we have. We have here 3 decimals, and we have here 2 decimals. In total, we have 5 decimal points. So, again, we move this decimal point from here 5 places, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, and, oh, no, sorry, it's not 2. We only have to move 4. Sorry, that's a mistake. So, we only have 4 places to move, 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, my final answer is going to be 472. All right, that's the way we complete the decimal numbers. Remember, this is only 2, and 2 makes 4 decimal places. Okay, now we're going to do the same operation, but dividing decimals. Well, we have this number, this is the dividend, and this is the divisor. The dividend is a decimal. Well, let's divide it. Well, since 4 is not enough, we have to count 43. And since we have 43, we have to write the decimal point already. So, 6 times 6 is going to be 42. Okay? I did the subtractions. I have 1. Reminder. I lower 5. This is going to be 15. Okay, 15 between 6 is going to be 2 divided. 2 times 6 is 12. So my remainder is 3. Okay, I don't want to have a reminder, so I can use a 0. And I will get 30. 30 divided by 6 is going to be 5. 5 times 6 is 30. That means that my remainder is 0. So, the only thing that I have to be very careful is that I will have to follow the column of the decimal point, and my answer is going to be 6.25. All right? Well, let's do another example. All right, here we have another example. We have a whole number that divides a decimal. Well, since 1 is not enough, that means that this is going to be 0. And I will have to go to 17. 17, well, 4 is going to be the number because 4 times 4 is 16. And I will have 1 as a reminder. I lower 6 and I have 16, which is going to be the same as 4 times 4, 16. So I have 0 reminder. And I have finished my division. Well, what happens if we have 2 decimals in the dividend and the divisor? Well, I have to try to go to this case. Well, what can I do? I have to change this decimal number into a whole number. And how do? I have to move this decimal point 1 place. To do that, I will have to multiply this by 10. And I have to do the same here, otherwise the number will not be the same. So my number is going to be like this. 4 that divides 17.6. Okay, now I can do it. Well, 4 that divides 17 is going to be 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Remainder is 1. I have to put my decimal point up here. I lower the 6. And I have to divide 16 divided by 4, which is going to be 4. 4 times 4 is 16. And the remainder is 0. As you can see, in these 2 cases, the answer here, the answer is 0.44. And here, the answer is different because the numbers are completely different, which is 4.4. Well, we have to be very careful. Managing decimals depend on counting them, which are going to be the decimal places that we have to take care of. Okay guys, This is the solution of the first question you have in your homework assignment. Well, as you can see, we have 3 pairs of shoes. Well, since each pair has a value of 10, each shoe is gonna be 5 as have 5 as a value. As you can see, 5 plus 5 makes 10, and 10 plus 10 plus 10 gives 30. So we have the first answer. Well, we have here the value we already know, because we already know that it's 10. But we have to complete to 20. That means that these two guys have to make 10. So their value should be 5. 5 plus 10 equals 20. All right. Again, we have 13 here. That's the answer. We have the value, which is 5, and we have these 2 scarves. So these 2 scarves, each one has a value of 2. So 2 plus 2 makes 4. 2 plus 2 makes 4. So 4 plus 4 makes 8, plus 5 equals 18. Now, this is the question. How much is the value? Well, since we know the shoe is 5, the guy is 5, and the scarf is 2. But be careful, because this is addition to a multiplication. So we first have to solve the multiplication, which is 5 times 2 equals 10, and finally add the number. So the final answer is 15. I hope you got the right answer for the first question. Thank you so much. Have a good day. God bless you.